All right, here we are. Hey guys, welcome. This is to our first ever edition of SingleCut TV here. Hey, I'm Dan Bronson. I'm the general manager at SingleCut, coming to you from beautiful Astoria, Queens, NYC, where I am sitting right now. We've got a killer episode for you today. We're going to be tasting through our brand new Starship Double Dry Hopped IPA. And we've got a super cool guest to start us off, the big boss man, Rich Becerra, founder, chief creative officer, lead brewer for SingleCut, is going to be on with us, yakking about music, talking about hot dogs, just everything, you guys, everything all over the place. A big welcome for all of our new fans coming to us from down south. All of you cats in Virginia tuning in for the first time with Starship. Welcome to the SingleCut family. Welcome to SingleCut land. We're going to give you a nice rundown of everything that makes us tick here today. Since this is everybody's first time joining us, if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and, I've been waiting so long to say this, hit the subscribe button, the subscribe button, the subscribe button. We're trying our best. We've created a huge brewery, which is awesome, but our next goal is to be the next preteen YouTube superstar. We're coming for the whole world round. 44 million people tuning in. I'm going to do makeup demos. It's going to be dope. It's going to be really good. You guys are going to like it. Cool. We've already got some folks tuning in from Astoria, which is awesome. What's up, Chris? What's up, Astoria, Queens? If you guys are out and about today, just a friendly reminder that the beer porch at Astoria, Queens is open and ready to go. We're pouring pints again, which is so dope. We're so excited to have guests back. If you're a little anxious about social distancing, come to us first. We share all your same concerns. All of our tables are 15 feet apart. We've got tons of outdoor goodies, some nice umbrellas, and all of our staff are extremely conscious about all that. For all of our friends joining us up north at SingleCut North in the Side Stage Taproom, same thing. The long-awaited beer garden is open today. So come on by, have a fresh pint, get some 4-packs to go, and all that good stuff. Without further ado, we're going to be bringing in the big boss man here. Let's see if we can get him. Rich, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, loud and clear, man.
I was a little disappointed. I was expecting to be brought on with some dramatic music or smoke machine or some laser light show or something.
The dark side of the story is that all of the doves I ordered were delivered on time, but the dove food was not. So right. It's been a very, very dramatic couple days in the Bronson household over here. Yeah. But next time we have you on, I've got cheetahs planned, fireworks. An F-18 is going to do a flyover and spell out your initials in the sky over Manhattan. It's going to be big.
Proper.
It's going to be good.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. This is the first broadcast of your telecast, isn't it?
This this really speaks to the water that you pull in SingleCut land. I hope you understand that.
I'm glad my status is still holding.
So obviously, Rich, we're here today with a very specific goal in mind because we got to do something that we've gotten to do 2 times before, and this is the biggest. We got to partner with our very good friends at the legendary Wegmans grocery store chain to brew the newest, freshest project beer, the Starship, which is a brand new double dry hopped single IPA. For those of you who are coming to this podcast, video cast, whatever you call it, this YouTube shenaniganry, who aren't familiar with Wegmans and what they do, obviously the killer grocery store group all over the East Coast. And one of the things that they are absolutely obsessed with, which is why we love working with them, is they are totally dedicated to incredibly fresh beer. So they do something called the Freshest Program a few times a year. We've been fortunate enough to do it many times with them. And basically, whether you're in the mighty Rochester or you're all the way down in Richmond, Virginia, you get this incredible beer just days after it was canned. So for us, we packaged all this on October 31st or on September 1st, and all stores got it on September 2nd or the 3rd, which is pretty crazy. So you really get to taste the beer the way that it was designed. But without further ado, Rich, do you want to show us how to pour this beer?
I'd love to show you how to pour a beer. I think, one of the occupational hazards of running a brewery, and Dan knows this better than anybody, is that you want to keep your ear to the ground, keep an eye on the pulse of how consumers are responding to beer. So you got to check in with popular sites where folks check in beers, that kind of thing. So you'll note a lot of times that someone will pour a beer and take a shot of it as part of their check-in, and they'll complain about some floaties and things like that. So I'll tell you my theory, and this all goes to personal taste, and there's no right or wrong answer, but in my opinion, it's best to leave the yeast in the can. Any craft product that isn't filtered, and none of our IPAs are filtered, by and large, none of our beers are filtered, is going to eventually develop some yeast that flock to the bottom of the can when it's kept in cold storage. So here's my patented technique on pouring a beer properly. Take your can, make sure that you store it in your fridge upright. Correct. You don't want to put it on its side. Keep it upright like this. When you take it out of the fridge, try not to shake it up too much. You don't have to go to any lengths to preserve the yeast at the bottom of the can, but don't go crazy shaking the can around. Crack it open.
I'm ready here, by the way.
Good.
I'm waiting instruction.
Good. I think we've been through this before, Dan, and I think you've gotten it down. But look, for the sake of the camera, we'll pretend that you don't.
I've been hearing a lot about SingleCut. I'm really excited to get a try for the first time.
Okay, good.
It's really exciting for me.
So I've got a couple of glasses here at the ready, and I'd like to just take a sidebar and talk about glassware for a moment, if I may, Dan.
We're going to allow it.
Okay, thank you. I'll show you my favorite glass of all time. Is the half pint, the humble English half pint. I love this glass. Whenever I need to sample a beer for analysis, how do I like the recipe? How's it tasting? Do I need to tweak it? This is my go-to glass. Works every time. I find that it's a good sample size. The aroma comes through, nice wide mouth. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, if I'm going to drink a full pint, the full English,
go with the big boy version.
I go with the big boy pint glass. This is my absolute go-to drinking vessel when I'm going to be session drinking. This is what I like to drink out of. Now, I know a lot of folks like more esoteric glassware, like the this guy. And I'll tell you, one of the beautiful things about this glass is it's a very well-made glass. And you can bang it on the side of a table and listen to it, and it's got the most beautiful tone.
Yeah, really, it's gorgeous.
It is. It's a very well-made glass. Don't bang it like, don't exert a lot of force, just enough to get a little sound. They're very well-made. It won't break. But yeah, check that out. It's beautiful.
You got a little tuning glass there for you.
Yeah, I believe that's in C. I've checked it out, and I think it's in the key of C. You could try that with the English glassware. That is a door now. It's a
very English.
There's absolutely nothing. Yeah, right. So here's the technique, and I'll demonstrate this with the full glass. And I don't mean to make this into a science project, but it's my first time on the air, Dan, and I'm a little nervous. So
you're holding it together, great, champ.
Thank you, buddy.
Joining you.
So you pour it like this. You're going to adjust your speed based on how much head you're getting and the tilt of the glass. Now, when I get towards the end of the can, I leave about a ½ ounce in the can. I don't pour the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And that way, I'm sure that if there's any yeast in there, it's staying in there. If you really want to be get every bit of beer out of that can, you can watch the stream very closely. And once you see little particulate white blobs come out of the can, stop pouring, leave it all in there. Now, my feeling on that is that the yeast, I know some people actually go to the length of shaking the can so that they get all the yeast into solution. I feel that that's not right, because if you were to taste that yeast by itself, which we do at the brewery all the time when we're assessing the health of the yeast, it's very bitter, and it's not it's not a bitterness that you get from say cool hops, where it might have a citrus component or something tropical, or all the other flavors that and aromas that we love about hops. It's just a generic bitterness, and it's actually a very astringent bitterness too.
Yeah,
It's not very pleasing. Basically, it's not very pleasing. So if you can leave it out of solution, I think that's the best way to go. All right, there you go. There's a pour.
Chin, an inaugural drink loud to all of our fans in Single Cut land joining us today.
Right on, Dan, and to everybody out there. Give it a good smell. I love the smell of this beer. I'll tell you, we'll talk about this beer in a second, I guess. But this is the first time we brewed it, and
righteous. I think you can stamp it.
I'm really happy with this. There were a few changes that we made in the production of this beer we'll talk about. But I had this for the first time 2 nights ago, and it's smooth. But the hops come across, and I think in another week, even 2 weeks, it's going to really come into its own. It's still got just a touch of sharpness because it's so fresh. But I think it's pleasing. I don't find it, too strong. I love the way the malt comes across in this beer. We tried an English malt that we don't use too often. Not one of the commonly used English malts, and I'm really enjoying it.
What's your favorite day for drinking Single Cut IPAs? What's that perfect distance from when it gets canned to when you absolutely love drinking it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks is the high water mark. And then the third week, I find that it gets a little softer, and that may be preferable to some folks. I like IPAs that have a little bit of a bite, that are have still maintain the heritage of what an IPA is. Which you're like me, Dan. We cut our teeth on West Coast IPAs, and that's right. how I was brought up. Back in the day, and I still love that style. I know it's gone out of fashion a bit, but I still enjoy it.
What was your first one, Rich?
My first West Coast IPA.
Yeah, what was your first old school pine of salt IPA that really just opened the eyes?
I'd have to give that some thought, but the thing that came right to top of mind was I remember the first time I had Green Flash.
Oh yeah,
the original Green Flash, when it first was when they first opened, or within a year of their that beer was kick ass.
Totally.
It changed eventually, and not for the better, and that's not a happy story. But the original Green Flash is the one that really put me back in my seat.
Yeah,
that was amazing. There was, now that I think about it, before Green Flash, throughout my life, I've always been a beer fanatic. Going back to, my teen years, the whole cycle of the Rich Busetta saga. I've been a beer fanatic, and
the original saga. The prequels were a little hit and miss for me.
It's a good story though. It's a good story. We'll talk about who I see playing myself in that movie.
A lot of CGI, bro.
There might be. I think I can pull off a number of age brackets. Thank you very much, Mr. Bronson.
A little De Niro Irishman. I like it.
Right. So I used to like to take road trips back in many years ago. You couldn't get good beer in New York or much of the East Coast. You had to travel west. So I had the good fortune of having a sister that lived in Oregon. So I would make a pilgrimage out to Oregon at least once a year to visit her. And then while I was out there, drink some pretty kick-ass beer. And on one of those trips, we took a road trip down the Oregon coast and went to a place called the Pelican Pub, which is still there. And it's right on the water. It's one of the most magical brew pubs you will ever visit. I can't recommend it strongly enough. But that was probably the first West Coast IPA, now that I think about it, before that predated my experience with Green Flash, that blew me away. Well,
over the years, I've told you so many times about my unending loyalty of the Stone OG
Oh yeah,
genetics.
sure.
That was my first beer I ever had in a bar my first day in college, which for those who are quick at math can see that doesn't quite line up, but it was what it was at that particular place and time. And I got a pint of Stone Double Bastard. And I think I got about 4 sips in there until the people I were with weren't looking, and then I spilled a little bit into the plant so I could pretend like I finished it all, because it was just, it was up here and I was here at the time.
Mhm.
But I'm glad to say, we're seeing eye to eye these days. I still love that beer.
Right.
Incredible.
Well, that'll be our little secret, Dan, and whoever else is,
And everybody on the internet. Yep, there you go. Yep.
People watching right now.
Hey, so Rich, what are you tasting in this beer? What was the inspiration for these flavors? What do you get?
Okay. Well, because this is a we'll talk about the branding of it in a moment, I guess, but it's an homage, I guess, an image to Led Zeppelin, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we've already put out a number of SKUs that are Zeppelin oriented, and I thought, well, okay, this is a unique opportunity, being it's an exclusive to Wegmans. So it should have its own thing going on, but it should overlap a little bit with some of those beers. So that was the origins of it, is, playing off of something like, does anybody remember Laughter, which I have a can of it behind me there. But to make it its own, we used a experimental hop from the Pacific Northwest, which is actually, I would say, one of the best hops I've tasted in a long time. The Mosaic, I think, was one of the last great hops that was created, and there have been many experimentals since then of all varying great impression. But this hop, this experimental hop, 06014,
Ooh,
was
inside knowledge, crew. Get the pens and paper.
I'm a hop fanatic, and I try everything new. We go through all the cool hops, all of them, experimental, you name it, from wherever, because that's what we're about. I don't want to do parody. I don't want to. None of us in the brewery like to mimic what's already out there. We try and stay original with everything that we release. So this was the one hop that really blew me away. Unfortunately, the hop is very prone to disease. It's not disease resistant, so it's been discontinued. So we bought a number of pallets worth of it, so that'll float us for a couple of years. But then when it's gone, it's gone. So that hop is in this beer, and I wanted to use this hop in the dry hop a couple times. This is a double dry hop beer, and on the second dry hop, there was a little bit of miscommunication, and Mosaic was put in instead, which was not the intention. Mosaic's a great hop, but I wanted to do something a little more unusual. So we triple dry hop this beer. After that, we put in some Galaxy.
That's going to be the name of the SingleCut story. So we triple dry hopped it.
Yeah, it's for the folks out there, and I know that we hear a lot that our beers are not inexpensive, and that we hear some folks gripe about the price point on our beers. I can assure everybody that we are not taking advantage of anyone. Our beers are expensive. In fact, for a long time, we weren't making a profit on our number one SKU, which is 18 watt. We just do what we believe is great, and we have to mass market it, because that's the other thing that I believe is important. I think that you shouldn't have to wait online and travel long distances for great beer. I think it should be accessible, and that's why we do what we do. But a lot of times doing that is not the most profitable way to go. But we used to say on our cans, it's pride before profit, and that's right. That's true, and that's truth in this beer. We made a profit. This was a great opportunity for us, but less than we could have. That's for sure.
Yeah, and a big chin to that. Pride before profit, for sure.
Oh yeah.
The thing I love about this beer, Rich, and the thing that I really love, not just about our beers, but about great beer in general is it has this beautiful balance of acidity,
Yeah.
which I think is people kind of don't use the word that they mean when they talk about freshness. Freshness is great, that big explosion of character, but it's really that balance. You know, we always talk when we drink things that are like fruity or juicy. You know, if you drink orange juice that doesn't have any acidity, you would say it's off, you know. If you drank something that's really perfumey, but it doesn't have that acid really like making it a rounded experience, it's off. The one thing that I love about our beer is just it always has that great brightness. And this beer particularly, A, because of the freshness, but B, just because of the way it was built, is like a great example of that. It's got that zip that really keeps things lively. And for, you know, a dude like me who's a food obsessive, it's great because it pairs well with just damn near everything, you know, which I absolutely love. As far as like flavors on this beer, you know, like a lot of stuff we do, like I get this beautiful white pineapple that's coming out and some mangoes and definitely some apricot.
Yeah, I was going to say for me, sorry, you did ask me that before, and I got a little sidetracked. What impresses me about this beer, flavor and aroma wise, is I get stone fruit for sure.
Yeah.
And primarily stone fruit and a little dankness, which we love the dankness. I mean, you know, be it
sativas
liquid,
for me, for sure.
Right? Yeah, liquid or other forms. Those are the two things that reach out, but that hit me initially. But then I, because I know about the recipe, and this is an interesting sidebar, if I may, Dan. May I go off track a little bit here?
All bars are your bars, sir. You can
all right.
side bars, vertical bars, whatever you want.
You know, if this is of interest to anyone listening or watching, you know, because I'm so close to these beers, and I, you know, most of the time I chisel out these recipes. It sort of tips its hand a bit to me in terms of the impression of a beer when I drink it, because I know what to expect, and it sort of clouds my judgment sometimes. And I'm not approaching the experience of drinking one of our beers as a typical consumer who doesn't know what went into it, what the ingredients are, so on and so forth. So what I do to level the playing field in my mind is I might have a little bit of the aforementioned hybrid, sativa leaning is my preference. Yeah. And that tends to just sort of recalibrate my mind and relax me and not make me approach the first sip with any expectations. And I find that when I really need to analyze a beer, that's my go-to move. I do it at home. I don't do it at the brewery. And the reason for that is at the brewery, you have all the smells of fermentation in the air, and that's going to cloud your judgment a bit. So I bring it home to a neutral environment, and I imbibe in thank you. And then I'm ready, and I find that works really well for me. So 2 nights ago, when I tasted this for the first time, that was my protocol, and I really liked it. If we brew this again, we're going to do it as per the original recipe, because I want to see how that turns out. But I'm very pleased with the way this turned out. It's a great beer, and I love the thing I wanted to say as well is it's got a great halo of malt. The malt just softens everything beautifully in this beer.
Yeah, it's good. I can't wait to taste it in a couple weeks and see it round out and really like go to that next level. It's going to be amazing. Rich, you're in safe company here. This is a certified no children YouTube channel.
Okay.
Right. What's your go-to strain these days? What's your desert island bud?
Girl Scout cookies.
Girl Scout. You're still on the Girl Scout. All right, I like it.
Yeah. It blew me away. First time I had it, like maybe 3 weeks ago, and loved it. Before that, my favorite was Trainwreck.
Yeah, I know you're a big Trainwreck dude.
Yeah.
I've been all about that Skywalker OG lately. It's been treating right. Been feeling nice.
You have to share that with me. I don't know that I've had it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. All right. I got one. Pulled one out of my pocket there.
Okay.
So, Rich, talk to us about this very particularly special and dare I say ingenious label that's going on this beer. So I'm sporting it on my chest as well.
Yeah, it looks good. Thank you for those kind words, Dan. I know that you're a very critical man.
That is true. Hard to please this old Dan Bronson over here.
Folks don't know the beginning of that. Anyway, before my life as a brewer and as a beer professional, I used to work in advertising. So no judgments, please. But it served its purpose, and but in the end, I'm glad that I'm no longer in that business. Anyway, so I used to be a graphic artist. I used to be an art director. So I would do the visuals on ads and communications. So I had that experience, and therefore, when we opened SingleCut, I decided, well, I know how to do that work, and I can continue doing it in a way that is really fun now. I don't have to answer to clients or people, saying no all the time. So I do all the graphics primarily for the brand and website design and so on and so forth. That's
primarily is a little humble too, like 99.9% is the more accurate.
Yeah, I mean, we get help from some folks sometimes, but I love it. It's so much fun. It's one of the things I love about my job these days. So when the Swagman's opportunity came up, thought we really got to do something special for them. They're a great brand, and we have a great relationship with them. So we thought, I don't know how the sticker idea came up, but it did. Honestly, I don't know how we got to where we are with this. There may have been some of that Girl Scout cookie involved.
It was a long, strange trip. Yeah,
it was. Yeah. But the results speak for themselves. So I think.
And it's not just a functional sticker; it's a beautiful sticker. I love. It's got a little metallic shine.
No, that was the Dan Bronson influence. That was Dan Bronson who said, "Hey, can we add some metallic to this?" And at first I got angry and I was like, "How dare you usurp my?" But then I came around and I thought, you know what?
It was a good fight, though. We got to get that out of our systems. The bruises are gone now, so we're fine.
Yeah. No, it was great. No, Dan always has a lot of great ideas, and that was one of them.
Oh, geez. So we got another Zeppelin beer. God bless. The archetypical rock band. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit here.
Great.
But obviously, like one of the classic bands where, essentially 4 core members, and you're going to hear legitimate arguments for each one of those guys being not just the best member of the band, but like the prototype for what they do in a band, So here's a heavy one to lay on you, Slick Rick. Greatest member of Led Zeppelin, and why? And I know my answer. I have a feeling you know yours.
Mm-hmm. It's easy.
It's easy for you. Yeah, I figured as much. But lay it. Give us the doctorate here.
Yeah, no, you're right. You could argue the case for each of the 4 members. They're all amazing in their own right, but Jimmy Page is by far the most impressive because he's my favorite guitar player of all time because more so than I think he's the greatest guitarist there ever was.
Wow.
Yeah, I do. Over Hendrix, over Clapton in the Cream days, because he was the quadruple threat. He was a master instrumentalist. He was a great producer. He introduced themes like Cashmere and stuff like that. Just elements. He took hard rock into directions it's never been.
Totally.
And engineer as well. The guy did it all. He was a master. He just knew how to get the sound, the recording. He knew how to record drums. Bonham, for all his incredible talent, and he's my favorite drummer. Would he have come across as impressively as he does if it wasn't for the Jimmy Page production? I don't think so. He still would have been notable, and people would have said, "What a killer drummer!" But it was the production that really took everything over the top.
My favorite member of Led Zeppelin has always been underappreciated. It's Robert Plant's abs. Is my favorite member, and fun fact
Wow.
for you, on the
I gotta think about
'75 World Tour, they didn't do any laundry services. Bobby did it all just on his abdomen
in the sink.
on
On the
plane. Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Fun fact for you, crazy tales surrounding that band, but
Because
let's not forget the workhorse.
That's interesting, Dan, because a lot of people would have gone just slightly south of the abs. He liked to wear those.
Yeah, that is true. Hard V on that man. Good for him.
Let's leave it at. Let's not go down this road.
A lot of crunches. That's all I'm saying. He put the work in. That man put the work in.
He wore thin material, light denim jeans, very snugly.
Yeah, no comment on that. Yeah.
Right.
All right, Rich, we're playing a game now.
Okay.
This is riff tracks.
Wow.
We're SingleCut. We're all about music.
Yes.
We know that, right?
Oh,
SingleCut, our
100%.
name. It's a guitar. We know this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're kind of a ringer for this game, I'll admit. But you're going to tell me, all of our fans, all of SingleCut land, the definitive greatest riff from each of these bands.
Okay.
And if you're wrong, we're going to let you know. But I think you're going to have a good one. So let's start from the top here. We're going to go quick. All right. Zeppelin, greatest riff.
I'm going to say greatest. I'm going to do that one better, Mr. Bronson. I'm going to say greatest Jimmy Page solo.
Oh, nice. Okay, okay. Well, we're going to allow it.
And the riff in this track is pretty cool too. But I'm not gonna go with the usual suspects because that's just too obvious. But my pick for the most impressive Jimmy Page solo, Achilles' Last Stand.
Achilles' Last Stand.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Give that a listen. Get high. Have a good beer. Some Starship, and listen to Achilles' Last Stand. That is epic.
Okay. All right. So the part of riff tracks I didn't tell you is that you now have to kind of sing that whole riff to all of the audience.
No,
just start whenever you're ready.
No.
It's part of the rules. It was publicized.
No.
Rich, Sabbath.
I do have a pan flute. If you want me to play it on the pan flute, I could do that.
I think we're all a little upset that hadn't been introduced yet, but that's okay. We'll forgive you.
All right, thank you.
Riff tracks, Sabbath. Greatest Sabbath riff.
I'll tell you, greatest Sabbath riff, and it comes from the Greatest Sabbath album.
Oh shit! Hot takes.
Greatest Sabbath album, in this reviewer's opinion, is Volume 4.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Volume 4.
That's one of my favorite too. We have a very minority opinion on this. Okay, what's your riff?
Supernaut.
Nice.
Yeah.
My favorite riff is also from Volume 4, but it's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. When he just comes and.
No. Wait a minute.
Are you calling me out on the TV show right now?
Yeah. Can someone type something in to correct Dan? There was an album called Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and that's the album.
I messed. To make it even more embarrassing, I'm wearing the T-shirt right now. No, I didn't mean to say Volume 4. God, we're gonna have to edit that. That's so embarrassing, you guys.
Okay. Well, it's the first. This is the first premiere. These little bugs are gonna.
I got to talk to the editing team. Yeah. That's my dog.
I got to talk to my manager about this gig.
I'm sticking with Sabbath Bloody Sabbath for my favorite riff. I'm removing my Volume 4. Obviously, we're all hopped up here. We've been drinking.
Killing Yourself to Live is a great riff off that album too.
Our man Tony here is throwing out a great one with Snowblind. That's a pretty dope.
Snowblind's killer. Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel I'm literally wearing the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath T-shirt, and I misquoted the album. So let's put that one on the hit reel.
Yep, and everyone saw that. Everybody.
Here's one where I know you're gonna have a hot take. I think there's a definitive answer to this. I'll defend this one heavier than any. Stones. What's the greatest Stones riff?
Stones riff.
Greatest Stones riff. Yeah.
See, to me, the Stones are so much more than just a riff. It's the rhythm.
It's not called rhythm tracks. It's called riff tracks.
Okay. First thing I thought of was Dancing with Mr. D. That's a great riff.
The correct answer was Can't You Hear Me Knocking? We're so sorry. We're so sorry. But that's a good one. See, Tony knows what's up. Tony's in this with the hot takes here.
Why don't you have Tony as a guest next time?
We just might. We don't know. It's the first episode. All right. A personal favorite of mine, hot take, left field, Steely Dan.
Oh, wow. I'll tell you my favorite Steely Dan album.
Yeah, okay, that counts.
Can't Buy a Thrill.
Easily. The classic rock and roll.
Yeah.
Top 5 for me all-time rock and roll albums. Can't Buy a Thrill.
It's a great album. Great album.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can tell you greatest riff, but that's my favorite Steely Dan album.
Yeah, I mean, I think that intro to Reeling in the Years, I mean, that's good enough
classic.
Right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's classic. I don't want to be that guy, but I know I'm a headphone guy. You're a headphone aficionado.
Yeah.
Too. I know it's like amongst all of our like live music friends, you know, it's kind of a stereotype, but I throw on Can't Buy a Thrill, Gaucho, or Asia every time I get a new pair of headphones to balance them out because they're just fucking perfect. You can't do better than that.
Great recordings. Yeah, no question. Mm-hmm.
Just incredible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you like candles when you do that?
Well, just generally I do. Yeah. Okay. But I like it, you know, have a nice serene environment.
Yeah.
You know? Get it dialed in.
Yeah. Do you break in the headphones with like whale sound songs or that kind of thing? Just something neutral that will before you.
That's a good one. Yeah, started off easy. Well, what are you listening to right now? What do you got on your head there, Rich? What's your go-to pair of?
Right now, I'm listening to Dan Bronson, and it's the dulcet tones. It's good. The dulcet tones of Dan Bronson. You're asking me about modern bands?
Yeah. What are your headphones that you're listening to right now?
My headphones. Thank you for asking. I love these headphones, and I will recommend them highly. This is a brand called Mez.
Mez.
M-E-Z-Z.
Okay.
And these are the 99 classics. This is wood. This is a solid piece of wood.
Yeah.
And these are incredible. I used to have the top of the line set of Grados, and I didn't really think they were all that. I'll tell you, I wound up selling them, and I got these for less than half the price. They're very reasonably priced for a kick-ass pair of headphones, and I can't recommend them enough. To footnote that story, my father, who is an audiophile, he's the guy who got me at the stereo, and
he's a longtime musician as well, right? He plays a
trumpet.
He
was a jazz musician, right? That's right. He knows good music. He's got an amazing ear. And when I discovered these, I thought, you know what, this may end in disaster because he's also a very opinionated man and he speaks his mind regardless of whether he's going to hurt feelings or not. But I thought I'm going to take a chance, and I bought an extra pair for him, and I gave them to him, and he was blown away. That is high praise. And if I was Mez promoting these headphones, I would get my dad as a spokesperson, and have him. He would probably irritate everybody before they got to the recording of the commercial or whatever way they were going to promote these headphones. He's a very opinionated guy, but his point of view on audio and fidelity is valid.
So you grew up. I mean, obviously there was music in your household growing up, or was he one of those musicians? Okay, he liked to bring it to the house.
Oh yeah, no, we always had music, records, vinyl, classical music. I was raised on classical music, and in fact, I've been a long time guitar player. But back in those days when I lived at home as a young teenager and I wanted to get an electric guitar, my parents forbid it because it was not a proper instrument as far as they were concerned. So therefore, I started with a classical guitar because that was something that they would allow in the house. So I started as a classical guitarist, but then once I moved out of the house, I kicked that thing to the curb and I got a proper Les Paul.
The worst part about learning classical guitar is the really uncomfortable, like in the crotch positioning.
Yeah, that's right. And then I had the footstool too.
Yeah,
Yeah, the whole deal.
nobody in the history of mankind has looked cool holding a guitar like that. And if
No.
you're not going to look cool, what is? I mean, just
Yeah.
let's move on. Let's move on.
Yeah, it didn't get me any dates
Yeah.
whatsoever.
So you kind of touched on it, but I want to know. So obviously, you grew up on classical. Anybody who knows anything about SingleCut knows your unending adoration of classic rock. What's your favorite modern era band right now?
Oh, that's easy. The Sheepdogs out of Canada.
Selling out for the Sheepdogs, always and forever.
We promoted the Sheepdogs on our website and social media many times. They're a great band. They're a great band. Right. They're like, to me, I would describe them as a cross between the Guess Who and the Allman Brothers.
Oh wow, that's a good way to say it.
The vocalist has that Burton Cummings voice. He's a great singer, but he's also the songwriter, and he's a great guitar player too. I can't promote these guys enough. They're amazing.
I'm backing up Slick Rick on that one too. Sheepdogs, dope, very good band, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
great.
Friend.
You know, and we always talk about, for anybody who follows us on social media or gets any of our newsletters, we do our Now Hear This column every week where we spotlight some just like great album for you to be listening to that you know, this week. One of my personal favorite albums is going to be on Sunday, which is awesome. You've got to tune in to find out what that is, but we always like to classify them in two groups. You know, we got headphone records and car stereo records. And I don't know if I'm speaking out loud, but or speaking out of turn, but Sheepdogs, that is a classic, great car stereo band right there.
Oh, it's good driving music. Good road trip music. Absolutely. No doubt.
Windows down, crank it up to 35 out of 35. Yeah, good band for that. So, Rich, you're a man of many tastes, a man of many pleasures.
Right.
We chat about cocktails a lot, all the time. I mean, we love great beer, but we love things that taste good. Taste is what drives everything that's about SingleCut.
Yep.
What's your favorite cocktail these days? What's your go-to in September 2020?
Well, my go-to cocktail is always going to be a G&T.
Okay.
If I go to a pub, the pub, it will be back. People, it will be back. Wear those masks. We'll get it down. But if I'm in a pub and there's not a beer that I'm interested in drinking, and I don't want to kill those brain cells with a beer I'm not going to enjoy, I'll order a G&T. Now, if I'm at home and I want a drink that I'm really going to enjoy, it's going to be a mezcal margarita.
Oh, little smoke in your life.
Yeah, I love mezcal. Mezcal margarita. It's delicious every time, under any circumstances, Dan.
Yeah, I agree. For Mark Stanbro, that's my pick, and you really spoiled it now. So now I have nothing to talk about, Mark. So thanks a lot. But pumpkin spice martinis in my house. I think that's the moral of that story.
Do you know that guy? Because he seems to have your number down.
Yeah, I don't, but he's got great taste.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, what did you have for dinner yesterday? I told you no softballs on this interview. I said no softballs. No.
You did. Thank you for asking that question. Actually, we typically these days I'm living up in Woodstock, New York.
Beautiful.
Where I am right now. It's a good. When we opened the second brewery up at North, I thought, well, okay, I kind of need a halfway point to visit between the two facilities. And Woodstock is a place that I've always loved since I was a teenager. And my wife and I were lucky to find a place that we're really happy to be in. So that's where I am now. And what was the question again?
What did you have for dinner last night? I can't believe that question didn't stick with you. It's a hard hitter.
There's alcohol in the stuff. Thank you. So here in Woodstock, there are actually some pretty good restaurants, and I like to support, as I'm sure everyone else does, restaurants and pubs as much as you can. So we typically eat at home during the week, but during the weekend we'll order in or go run out and grab something from one of the local places. And last night we did that. We ordered in from a place called Cucina, which is an Italian place here in town, and it was excellent. They
Nice.
they offered my favorite pasta dish, which is pasta. It happened to be penne in this case, with a tomato sausage and pea
Ah, okay.
sauce. I love peas
Yeah,
in
delicious.
in some Italian dishes. Yeah, so that's what I had last night. And a salad.
Okay,
Yeah,
well-rounded. I like that.
salad. Yeah, yeah. You gotta.
Shout out for love in Cucina, Woodstock.
Yeah, they're great. Among many other restaurants that I love locally, but that's where we had. That's where what we consumed last night.
All right, so we're gonna keep the hard balls coming here. Rich,
Good.
your
I'm gonna
desert.
fire back at. Wait a minute. Can I
What?
get to fire back at you as well?
Oh yeah, of course. You know
Good.
me.
All right.
I love talking.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. Let's hear it. I'm going to surprise you. I'm not going to do it right now, but go ahead. Hit me
Oh,
with what
you're just putting one in the chamber?
I
Okay,
just,
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey man, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready anytime.
All right. All right. It's coming right now. So Dan, in your little promo, I think you said something about Burger King versus Panera. It was something like that. I don't know what you were going on about, but it did make me want to bring. Yeah, it did make me want to bring something up, which is that Dan. I'll tell you, dear viewer, where that comes from is Dan and I have sat in the car together on many a trip, and Dan is a man of taste. He's an enigma because he is a tasteful man. He has some would say highfalutin taste, but I think he's discerning. He's discerning and understands good quality things. But somehow he also has a penchant for fast food. And under certain circumstances, so do I, as does everybody. Come on. So on these road trips, we'll typically stop at a McDonald's most times. And I got scolded.
Yeah, you did.
Scolded, I believe is the word, for ordering a milkshake with my meal.
Yeah.
And Dan thought that was highly offensive.
Too far. You went too far. Flew close to the sun there, Icarus.
He thought, how dare you not drink a soda? That is the proper protocol with a Big Mac or whatever the burger is of your choice. And I thought, what? The origins of fast food go back to the milkshake. Back to the milkshake, Dan. So anyway, I just want to throw that out. You don't have to comment on it. I think maybe if anybody wants to chime in some comments on that, but I like milkshakes with fast food.
I don't know where to start with this particular one. I'm just gonna lay this out. Adults should not imbibe dairy products when sharing a car with other adults. I feel that's just a good, safe life lesson. I do applaud you though very much for you kicked at the 50-yard line. You know what I mean? You went for it, and I always will respect people who go for it. You know, and all joking aside, you finished that milkshake. So, I mean, this hat will always tip for you, sir. You know, I'm a Diet Coke man, raised on it. You know, not defending it. It will be the death of me, but I will go out highly caffeinated with some bubbly refreshment in my hands. The Burger King and Panera dichotomy is very important to me. It keeps my brain cells engaged. You know, I'm all about execution. You know, when you go to a Burger King, they're promising you very little. They're promising you salt and fat quickly, and that's delivered with remarkable consistency. And McDonald's, that's the S class right there for consistency. Really, it truly is. You know, the Panera, though I have softened my stance in the years since then. I've become somewhat of a Panerist, if you will, since then. But they promise a more lofty goal. You know, they're showing you this vision of a utopia with organic salads at a drive-through and wraps that are somehow 200 calories but 9 pounds. They overpromise. You know, they underdeliver. That's my situation. That cheesy broccoli soup. That's a damn fine soup.
I just
so
want whoever's left watching this.
we're doing pretty good. We're doing good.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. Just know that if you're ever in the shotgun position of a car trip with Mr. Bronson here, this is pretty much what the conversation's like.
Yeah, that's it.
For hour after hour after hour, and
Yeah.
you know, you got nowhere to go. It's a captive audience. So anyway, just an insight into life here.
We got
my point of view on Panera is that if I'm on the road and I really don't want to eat crap, I need to be good to myself. I've been a bad boy last night or whatever, and I need to be healthy. Panera is reasonable for that reason.
This I will concede forever and always. An excellent iced coffee.
The coffee's good. Absolutely.
Me.
Good. All right.
Love it.
I think there's enough overlap in our opinions on this whole genre.
That's how good relationships are built. Mutual respect.
Absolutely. The cornerstone of any good relationship is compromise. Yes.
Communication. Speaking of communication, we're going fast and furious now.
Okay, good.
Rich, this is now time for yes, no, either or. I'm just going to lay on some hot takes on you. The answer will either be yes, no, or one of the two options. And we don't want no jibber jabber here. All right? It's yes or no. No qualifications, no halfway points. Take a stand, man. Take a stand. Are you ready? Are you ready for yes, no, either or?
Yeah, hit me.
Can you put ketchup on a cheeseburger?
Ketchup on a cheeseburger? Yeah, that's 101, of course.
We're on a rough start here. Okay.
Yeah.
Hot dog sandwiches.
Hot dog is very much a sandwich.
Okay, we're back to even. All right, good, great job. Leather seats or sunroof?
Sunroof. I typically don't go leather seats. I prefer the cloth or the vinyl. It's gonna wear much longer.
For those of you who don't know, dear listener, our beloved Rich here is quite the gearhead and a classic one at that. Yeah. So for this very special edition of Yes, No, Either Or, I peppered in some automotive questions here for you.
Oh, cool. All right.
There we go.
Okay. Was that it? That was the one automotive question?
No, there's more.
Oh, good. Okay.
It takes a really long time to write all this, Rich. I don't appreciate this dismissive attitude.
No. I just didn't know that you had enough knowledge to. Anyway, I'm digging the grave here. No.
That's how we followed.
Oh.
Wow. Turbo 4-cylinder or a V8? What? Either or.
Oh, turbo. I'm a 4-cylinder guy. All my cars are 4-cylinders. I'm a 4-cylinder guy. Died in the wool.
Wrote that question just for you.
Thank you, buddy.
God. Do you dance at weddings, Rich?
I don't like attending weddings to begin with. So if I have to dance at a wedding, what's the difference at that point? The whole thing is painful.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
How does your lovely bride, Lynn, feel about that? Does she share your objection?
Yeah.
We don't for approval to respond to that question? Okay.
I mean, look, if it's a good close friend, sure, a wedding is an important thing to go to, but typically it's not the case, and it's just a big hassle. And I'm sorry. Let's
How many
G&Ts
do you think will be on the table before the dancing starts?
How many what?
How many G&Ts will be on the table before the
4 at least.
That's my magic number 2. Good taste. Yeah, 4. Yeah, for sure. Mail-in ballot or in-person voting? What are you doing?
Oh wow. I'm going mail-in. I've already registered. I've gotten all that taken care of ahead of time. I'm good to go.
Nice. And a fun fact for all of our viewers here in New York State, don't forget, you can send in your mail-in ballot, and if you're unconfident that it arrived, you can actually go and vote in person as well. They'll take the in-person ballot above the mail-in. So if you feel confident on election day, you can go and vote. They'll just throw out your mail-in ballot. Thank you, WNYC, for that informative information yesterday.
Good. Everybody vote. Everybody vote, please.
Yeah, everybody vote, for the love of God.
Please.
Yes or no question. Mazda Miata.
Mazda Miata is a great car. You can. It's a classic. You can get if you really want to be special, because there's so many of them out there, for 2 years, Mazda made the Mazda Speed Miata, which was a turbocharged example. I can't remember the years, but that's a very cool car.
Did you ever get a chance to drive one of the old Mazda? I think it was the R series, the old rotaries that or not rotary.
Yeah,
that other
the RX-7. RX-7. Yeah, I never did. I admire the the difference in engineering of that motor, but it was a strange motor because it had horrible fuel economy, just the worst. So after a while, I was like, all right, it's different, but what benefit are you getting?
Canada or UK?
I'm going to say Canada. With the recent politics in the UK, I'm going to say Canada all the way.
Ranch dip or French onion?
These are weird questions.
Who
wrote these? Who wrote these questions?
Either or.
Who cares about the answer to this?
You pick one of the two.
French dip or what?
We're moving on.
Yeah.
Judas Priest or the solo Ozzy records?
Judas Priest, because the solo Ozzy albums were just an amalgamation of ghost writers and all kinds of stuff, and weird production too. Some of that stuff sounds really dated.
So dated.
Yeah, but Randy Rhoads, man, that guy was a legend.
It was crazy. I was reading about him recently. I didn't realize that he was like a relatively sober person. That horrible, situation for his death really seemed like it would have been like, He was just he just made a big mistake, error in judgment. It wasn't part of his. He didn't do things like that typically. You're right. Mm-hmm. Crazy, and he was such a young guy. What a young kid.
Phenomenal guitar player.
Pilsner or Imperial Stout?
Pilsner or Imperial Stout?
Whichever you pick, the other will disappear for forever.
Oh. It's a weird show.
You paid for it, bro.
Pilsner. You got to have a Pilsner. I love Imperial Stouts, as you know, but if I had to pick between the two and one was going to disappear forever.
Yeah,
you got to have a Pilsner.
My favorite beer we made this year? That Twist Off Rice Lager. Oh, so nice.
That was cool. Oh, that was cool.
That was backyard hot barbecue drinker right there.
Thank you.
Real nice. Throw in that Coos. We're ready to go. All right. Last one. Hot takes. Acoustic Nirvana or the Foo Fighters?
Oh, well, I'm not a fan of the Foo Fighters whatsoever. Yeah. I can't stand them.
Can we agree to that? Dave Grohl, unless he's watching, in which case we love Dave Grohl. But assuming he's not watching.
I'm sorry.
Awful. Can't stand it. Too much.
Can't stand it. Can't. There's, let me, if I may, for the folks still watching, many of you who may be untapped check-in folks, and, by all means, check in, offer your opinions, but back it up with some explanation. Don't just say, nah. Say, why did you find whatever beer it was from SingleCut or otherwise, why didn't it meet your expectations? Try and offer some critical suggestions. That would be helpful for the folks like me and Dan who read these things from time to time.
That's right.
Anyway, regarding the Foo Fighters, my critique is that they don't know dynamics. It's just loud screaming, one tone through the whole friggin' song, and it's exhausting. And the song isn't all that catchy to begin with. I don't find that they had a few good songs. Yes, they did, but throughout the entire canon of their portfolio, not that impressive. One man's opinion.
Did you watch the HBO series Sound City that Dave Grohl was pretty into?
Oh, yeah. That was cool. That was very cool. Yeah, and he bought the soundboard.
Right.
Yeah.
Intro to that show when he talked about like starting out with the Foo Fighters and living out of the van. Did you just like stand up and walk out of the room like I did? Like
Why? Why?
In the entire world. If you were living in a van, it was 100% by your own choice.
Right.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard, Dave Grohl. Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, outrageous.
I'm
Outrageous.
backing you on that. I'm backing you on that, Dan.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
You're gonna get a lot of hate mail now, but I'm backing you on that.
Please send it to quality@singlecut.com. And as you type in quality, just be introspective to be like, wow, I'm typing quality@singlecut.com to defend the Foo Fighters. Wow. I just, I get it. Like, it's not like a great age for, 2020 is a horrible age for it, but an arena rock show, we just don't have a lot left, so I get it. Like the Foo Fighters are still going out there, playing stadiums, playing hard rock and roll, bringing great. I think that Dave Grohl is really good for music. I just personally rather, honest to God, listen to nothing than listen to a Foo Fighters album.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's around. I'm just glad other people listen to it on my behalf. A benevolent force that I want nothing to do with, I think, is the moral of the story on that.
Yeah. I can. Yep. I can endorse your comments there.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. Mark here had a great comment too. Yeah, the Foo Fighters are the poor man's Pixies. That's a good.
Oh, Pixies! Oh, Pixies were an incredible band.
If you're gonna go loud, quiet, loud, you go with the band who made that great.
Yeah, I saw the Pixies back in the day. They're Pixies are the real deal.
Saw them last year, and they were fantastic. Better than they had been for the previous 15 years.
I'll bet that's true.
It was rough in the 2000s. That was some of the. Honestly, I saw them twice. I think maybe 05 and 08, something like that. Horrible. Just bad.
I saw them. Wow, that's good to hear. I saw them, not to date myself, but I saw them in 1989 in Minneapolis, where I used to live, and it was one of the most boring shows I've ever seen. I hate to say, I was so keen to see them. I was such a fan, and maybe they just had an off night. I don't know, but they were not firing on any cylinders that night.
I think on that same line, the band that I would pay good money to see, who I don't really love, but I just love what they do for music, in the stadium world, is Pearl Jam.
Right.
Can you find anybody who really hates Pearl Jam? I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm not the biggest Pearl Jam fan, but I respect them. I respect them.
But packing out those stadiums still. I mean, not now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. They're keeping rock music alive.
You're keeping it alive. That's important.
Yeah.
Rich, what are your parting words for all these folks out in SingleCut land?
Wow, that is an open-ended question. What do you want me to comment on? Life in general, or?
Yeah, just give us your benediction here, Rich.
Okay. I'm going to treat this seriously, and I'm I don't want to just phone this answer in.
What
was the question again?
I think that's good enough. All right.
Get out there and vote, folks. Really. You know what? I've seen a lot of things in my life, and what's going on today in the United States is like something we've never seen before, ever, ever, ever. Make a difference. Please, the country needs you.
For sure.
That's what I have to say.
Okay, I love it. We're leaving it on a very important, serious note, but that is 100% true. Don't forget about all your local elections too, I think we tend to forget about those a little bit. Try and do your research before you go and you cast that ballot. But other than that, that's awesome. Rich Becerra.
Can I footnote that? Listen, I don't want to come across as someone who thinks that if you're of one political orientation or another, that's better or worse. This country is about all types of folks, all types of opinions, backgrounds, and that's what makes it great. And you can be a liberal, you can be a conservative, you can be a Republican, a Democrat, what have you. That's all fine. But I would like to think that all of us can agree that things are just not working for the benefit of this country right now. I'm sorry if that went a little too off the rails for you, Dan, because this has been light and fluffy, talking about hot dogs and, I don't know what else we were talking about. It was kind of weird, but so I hope that didn't.
You can put that in the comments section. Thank you.
Anyway, this is a lot of fun. I had a great time. And I'm looking forward to you maintaining this. I think that, folks, Dan is a beloved SingleCut pillar. You guys are a legend. And you're a natural at this above everything else. So, yeah, I want to see you maintain this. This is great.
Well, we got good news for you and for everybody listening. Our next show will be on October 3rd. And we're going to be talking about and tasting through some incredible new beers, which I'm going to share with you in 2 seconds here. But before we get there, massive thanks to El Jefe, Rich Pacetta, founder of SingleCut Beersmiths. Give the people a wave.
Hey.
Give them a wave. Let's get a little bit more in frame. There we go. All right, bring it in. Rich, thanks a ton. And
thanks, Dan.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Cheers, everybody.
All right, killer. Thanks again, Rich, for joining us. For everybody else, I've got some super secret stuff to share with you. So if you want a little sneak peek at what's coming out next week, this is just for you watching SingleCut TV. We've got 2 brand new beers which will be available in every place that SingleCut is sold all across the East Coast. So for those of you who are picking up your Starship at Wegmans, you'll find both of these in the upcoming weeks at all the Wegmans, which you previously purchased at. We've got this incredible new release, the Flash in the Middle. I'm going to keep this really short and just describe this in one sentence for all of the fans out in SingleCut land. Single IPA Bonbon. Available at every store you buy SingleCut at, just for the month of September. This will be rolling out into stores starting next week. So if you see this anywhere, go ahead and grab it. We'll have it at the tap room starting today, but it won't be on the menus or in the main shelf, so you got to ask for it if you want it. You'll find that rolling out at SingleCut shops starting soon. And then this absolute modern classic Desert coming back this month, hitting SingleCut stores again starting this week. Our absolute favorite in the genre series, our tip of the hat and ode to Josh Homme and all those cats doing the desert rock scene in the 90s. Get some Caius in your life, Kias, however you want to say it. Definitely like the most resinous and intense version of our genre series. Beautiful, super ripe, tropical citrus, a little resin in there, tons of like strawberries, blueberries. Incredible beer, an absolute fan favorite if you haven't tried it. If you're an Untapped kid, feel free to double check that one on Untapped. It's one of our highest rated beers and absolutely delicious. That'll be hitting all SingleCut stores again starting this week, and we'll have it in ready supply all through the month of September. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you'll get a reminder and all that good stuff when we start doing more often SingleCut TVs. We'll be premiering brand new beers, telling you all the scoops that are coming in, and we'll also have discount codes and all that cool stuff. If you want to snag any of the merch you saw today, this hat, the face hugger, a little bobblehead Dan, whatever, singlecut.com/shop. Those last 2 things were a lie. You can't buy those on the shop. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button. And again, we're going to see you on October 3rd. All that great stuff. If you live in Queens and you want a beer delivery to join us, singlecutdelivery.com. We'll get it straight to your house. Same day in Queens, anywhere in the New York City area every week. And otherwise, singlecut.com for all of your Drink Loud needs. That's going to do it for us for today. That was a long one, but what can you say? You got Jefe on the line. You got to get some information. We love you guys. Drink loud, and we will see you soon. All right. Peace.